Hey, Tom and
Nick.
here from the Run Testers with another running shoe versus. In this one, this is quite an interesting one actually. We've been meaning to do this one for a while. We're going to be looking at the Hoka Mach 5 and the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3. Let's take a look. The Hoka Mach 5 costs £130 or $140. It weighs in at 212 grams or 7.5 ounces for men in a size 8, and the drop is 5mm. The Saucony Endorphin Speed 3 costs £165 or $170, weighs in at 230 grams or 8.1 ounces for men in a size 8, and the drop is 8mm. The Hoka Mach 5 is the long-anticipated successor to the hugely popular Mach 4 and its slightly firmer sibling, the Mach Supersonic. In the most recent version, there's an updated ProFly Plus midsole that offers a slightly softer ride for daily training runs, a leaner upper to keep the weight down, including a redesigned lay-flat tongue, and longer laces than those supplied with the Mach Supersonic. It's a shoe that's designed for versatility, allowing you to go from comfortable daily miles all the way up to race day, offering an excellent balance of responsiveness and cushioning. That balance is the result of a dual density midsole that combines a softer layer with a firmer rubberized outer layer. Hoka says is a shoe that has a little more oomph behind it, both in performance and ride. The Saucony Endorphin Speed 1 and 2 have long been our most talked about options for runners that want a shoe that can do it all. With the Endorphin Speed 3, Saucony has made few changes to the design, which may be welcome news to anyone that's used the previous versions. Those updates are designed to improve the stability of the midsole, as well as provide a wider fit, a change that may not be to everyone's tastes. But aside from those changes, the Speed 3 is still our top choice for daily training, able to tackle everything from easy day miles all the way up to race day, thanks to the combination of a full-length nylon plate with the Power On PP midsole foam and speed roll design. Okay, so Nick, two of the biggest versatile daily training shoes probably out at the moment. How is the fit for you in both of these shoes?
The Hoka Mach 5 fits me very well indeed. I have a narrow foot. I've never had any problems with kind of Hoka's toe boxes. I know lots of people do, but not been a problem for me. It fits really well. The laces are shorter than they were on the previous edition, which had two long laces. And yeah, really good fit on the Mach 5. The Speed 3 isn't so good for me. They've widened up the shoe a little bit, and because I do have a narrow foot, I am a bit slipping around in there. You can see I've had to heel lock it and pull the laces, extremely tight to try and get a good lockdown around the midfoot, and I still do get a little bit of heel rub at times on longer runs in it. So personally, I preferred the fit of the Endorphin Pro 2. It was better suited to me, but this is still the right kind of length. So I still think it's true to size in terms of length, but yeah, unless if you have a narrow foot, you might find a bit too roomy.
Okay, well, I'll start with the Endorphin Speed 3 because I am the opposite of you. I've got a slightly wider foot than your tiny, thin feet. And I had a few issues with the Endorphin Pro Endorphin Speed 2s when I started wearing them, and I found them a little bit too narrow, and they took 2 or 3 runs to sort of loosen up and feel comfortable. They were fine after that. With this shoe, I haven't got that. I can feel that there's a bit more space in it, but for me, I actually quite like that. So I prefer the fit in this one, and I would go true to size in it. The Hoka Mach 5, yeah, fantastic. Just a lovely fit from first time you put it on. I'd definitely stick true to size in that. Okay, the run test, Nick. This is going to be an exciting one, I think. Hit us up with how you found both these two shoes on the run.
Well, I really like both of these two shoes, and I think what's interesting about them is that they achieve the same aim of being a very, very good daily trainer that's versatile and does a range of speeds in very different ways. Like, you have got the nylon plate in the Speed 3, you've got pretty high stack of super foam in there, and it's bouncy, it's soft, it's got that speed roll technology for a very smooth ride, whereas the Mach 5 is a fairly simple shoe by modern standards. It has got a dual density midsole, but mostly it's just a couple of good foams, a nice rocker, and not too mad a stack, and they both feel great. Like, I'd say the Mach 5 is more natural on the foot for me. This is probably the ultimate disappear on the foot shoe for me. Like, at any pace, I can just go out and run in it, and it just feels like, I get into a rhythm with it straight away. It's really just clicks along really nicely, works very well, especially for long, easy runs. I found at good paces. I tend to find I'm running a bit quicker than I expect when I'm using this shoe, but can go right down to full, easy recovery runs, and it's comfortable. It doesn't, I think, have quite as much speed as the Speed when it comes to, all out, hard runs or races or speed work, but it is still very fast. I think it'd be a great plateless option for the marathon in particular. And I think it's just a really enjoyable shoe to run in that you can put it on, forget about it, go do whatever you want, and the shoe is helping you in a unobtrusive way. It doesn't get in the way, and it just feels very nice. Whereas the Speed 3 is more intrusive, but in a good way. Like, it feels fantastic. You feel the the bounce of the foam, you feel the very smooth ride, and it does feel like it can do anything. Like, it's probably not quite as comfortable as the Mach as Easy Paces for me, but it's still very good for those. And then it does have more pop when it comes to all-out speed work, or especially, I think, longer reps or longer races. Even when you've got a plate in there, you just get a little bit more kind of efficiency gains from the shoe. How about you, Tom? Big fan of both?
Yeah, I absolutely love them. As you well know, since this is all we've been talking about recently. I pretty much echo what you've been saying. I think they're both fantastic shoes. You're not going to go wrong with either of the shoes. Every run I do in both of these, whether it's a daily easy run or whether I'm going out to do a fast effort. I haven't raced in either of these yet. I think I'd quite like to try and race them. I think both would be fine for that. I think the main difference comes in these two shoes is from that rigidity in the midsole. I think the Speed 3 is a bit, I wouldn't say necessarily firmer, but it's got a soft midsole. But I just think the actual build of the shoe feels a little bit more rigid, like it's holding your foot in place and helping you run faster because you've got that speed roll, you've got the plate moving you forward. Whereas the Mach 5, it's more flexible. As you say, it's more natural. And I think that's where the difference comes in. I imagine there's some people out there that would prefer that more flexible, relaxed feel of the Mach 5, whereas some like having their foot held in place for that firmer rigidity. I'm struggling to decide which of them is better. I actually just love wearing both of these shoes, and pretty much the same types of runs as well. So if I'm going out to do like a interval session and I've got to go pretty much as fast as I can, I've used both of these shoes for those sessions, and they're equally as good, just for slightly different reasons. I think they're both fantastic shoes. I've enjoyed running in these a lot, and I think they've both got their sort of plus points, and I don't think either of them's got really got any negative points.
Not huge negatives, actually. No. I think what you talk about, that rigidity on the Speed. I think if you're someone like me who, especially in your daily training, like in the summer, like I try and do a lot of my easy runs or even kind of steady runs in the forest. And sometimes on rutted ground, the rigidity of having a plated shoe, which is a big benefit on the road, because it holds your foot in place, it gives you that efficiency, can make you a bit kind of lacking in agility. What's the word for unagile? Unagile, let's say that, who cares? Whereas you get a bit more flexibility with the Mach. Obviously, the other maybe there is negative of the Mach is the exposed outsole, which will wear down a bit quicker than the little bit of rubber you get on the Speed, but the actual grip and the feel of the shoe on mixed terrains is very good in the Mach. You might wear it down a little bit. At the same time, losing a bit of the pattern I don't think indicates the shoe is past its best. It's just, that exposed foam. And I think one of the reasons it feels so nice underfoot is that exposed foam, because it doesn't have the rubber outsole, which creates a different feel to a shoe.
Well, I would also say that one of the beauties of the Mach 5 is that you sort of talked about it there, where you can use it for slower, easy runs. But it does feel like, I don't think the Speed 3 feels like it's necessarily a really light shoe. I think the Mach 5 does. It just feels so light on the foot, but has a surprising amount of cushioning sort of hidden away in there for when you're doing easy runs. If I saw this shoe without knowing what it was, I would think it's a low stack shoe for short distance runs. It really isn't. It's really, you can use it for everything. I think maybe for me, if I was going to go up to like marathon distance in the shoe, there's not enough cushioning in it for me over marathon distance. Some people probably is plenty of cushioning for marathon distance, but it's still got more cushioning in than you would expect from this shoe, whereas there is a lot of cushioning in the Speed 3, I think, and you do notice it. Okay, so I think this is going to be another tough one, Nick. verdict. What's your verdict between these two shoes?
It is a really hard verdict, but we did our best daily trainers recently, and I picked the Speed, and I think it comes down to it, chips it down. The Speed 3 I think is a slightly better shoe, and especially for my training, I'm doing quite a lot of speedy stuff in my daily training. Well, not fast, but steady, and where I want that kind of efficiency, especially in marathon training, when I will go to the road a lot to do a lot of my training to get ready for the roads in the race. But the Mach 5 is a shoe I love, and I probably love it more than the new version of the Speed, just because I've had the problems with the fit. I think the Speed's a better shoe, but I feel a much more affinity for the Mach 5, a shoe I really like, and I do love the way I just can put it on and forget about it. And there is that whole thing about when you do a session in a shoe without a plate of any kind, you do it really well, you go, oh, that's good. I feel a bit more of a kind of boost to my morale than doing it in any kind of speeded shoe, but any kind of plated shoe, sorry. But yeah, the Speed 3 I think probably would just edge it. The Mach 5 is cheaper, lighter, a lot of fun to use, but I think flat out, when the chips are down, if I had one choice for my daily trainer, it probably would still be the Speed 3.
Yes, I would go the same. But what I would say is that I think the Speed 3 is, for people like us, we're training for marathons, we do have a lot of speed training in our plans. I think the Speed 3 is the best one to go to in that instance, because a lot of the runs I'm doing, I generally do pick up the pace at some point, and it's nice to have the Speed 3 on. If I wasn't so bothered about speed and I wasn't doing faster sessions and I was just sort of training for enjoyment, I think I would probably go for the Mach 5 just because it feels more natural, feels more enjoyable, and in that instance you don't need a plate in it. You don't really need something that's going to make you go faster. So I think for comfort, I would go for the Mach 5, and I think there's definitely a market for people who would probably benefit more from the Mach 5 than the Speed 3. But I think the Speed 3 just ticks way more boxes. It's just a far superior shoe when it comes to everything. So yeah, I'll go Speed 3. But I'm basically trying to say though that I absolutely love the Mach 5, and I don't want to make it sound like that the Speed 3 has massively won this Versus for me.
No, yeah, it's close, but it's unanimous. I think actually it might almost come down to break down your training, like you were saying. Because earlier in the year, when I was doing a lot more short distance, I was doing like some indoor races over 1,500 meters and some 5K, stuff like that. My training was very, very high speed, intense intervals, and then pure recovery runs. In which case the Mach 5 would suit me very well, because I would use then like spikes or a very lightweight shoe for the intervals, and then use the Mach for the easy runs. Whereas now in marathon mode, like I say, it's high mileage and there's a lot of pickups during runs, and there are flat out easy runs, but there's not so many of them, and they're not such an important part of the plan. And that's when the Speed is so good, because it does tick off that mid-range tempo run. Well, not even to tempo level, more like steady sometimes, when it just feels so effortless and efficient to run in. So yeah, maybe if you have very, very aggressively polarized training and you go flat out pure recovery easy and all those, then maybe the Mach might be the more suitable choice. But yeah, Speed is great for those as well. Great for everything.
Okay, so that's it from us on the Hoka Mach 5 and the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and click the little bell, and check the channel out for all the other videos we've got, from the latest road and trail shoes to running headphones and watches out at the moment. And don't forget, we now have our monthly podcast that you can go to the link into the caption below, and you'll find where you can listen to that, and it's on most podcast providers that you might want to listen to. So thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Yep.